Josh Davis there. Okay. Josh Davis. Oh, that was me.
That's you. That's you talking.
But I didn't say Josh Davis, for the record.
Which one?
See, beneath the two picture screens, it says it's tracking a bunch of words. I saw Josh Davis and thought it was a name, and I was like, I don't. No, under it's doing the transcript.
Post caption.
Yeah.
See where your mouse is. If you take the bar in the middle and just shove it down, not that it's not a huge deal. It's just no, whatever. All right. Good evening. Officially calling the meeting to order for the Dayton Zoning Board of Appeals, 7:03, lower level town hall, Tuesday, January 27th. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first order of business is to confirm the next meeting date, February 24th, 2026. Are there any conflicts of board members?
I'll be in Florida.
Florida? Huh?
I don't know.
You might be, legit you might be?
No, not February.
Oh, okay,
April I will be.
okay. First
I'll
things,
make sure it's the same week.
yeah.
Dave Phillips is good with that.
Oh, Dave Phillips, sorry, I didn't know you were on mute. Okay, oh yeah, so for the record, Dave Phillips is here on Zoom. He's a board member, so we'll have to make sure that all votes are roll call today. Okay, so the first thing is to 40B committee, discuss and determine zoning board of appeals 40B committee representative. The thing that this is essentially a continuation because we were looking for a response from Ralph just regarding the committee. We did receive one. I'm going to read it into the record. This is from Ralph to Kerry, subject 40B committee, dated Thursday, January 22nd. It says, Dear Chairman Karen, I'm writing to express my support for reinstituting the Town of Dayton 40B committee. These committees play an essential role in helping municipalities meet their affordable housing goals. A reestablished 40B committee can serve as a constructive conduit between the town development committee, between the town and the development community, working collaboratively with potential applicants to advance projects that are respectful of the town's character, the needs of developers, and the future residents who will call these developments home. Such a committee also provides a valuable platform for public input and engagement, ensuring that the residents have a voice in shaping housing proposals that affect the community. In addition, the committee can take on the responsibility of completing the biennial update of Dayton's subsidized housing inventory, further referred to as SHI, a requirement of the Executive Office and Housing Livable Communities for all municipalities. Maintaining an accurate and up-to-date SHI is critical for planning, compliance, and long-term housing strategy. For these reasons, I believe reinstating the 40B committee is a meaningful step towards supporting thoughtful, transparent, and community-oriented housing development in Dayton. I am available to answer any questions. Thank you. And then Ralph, the town administrator, signed it. I'm just going to quickly read a memo that I just responded to him. This was sent today, January 27th. The Town of 40B committee plays an important role in helping the town meet its affordable housing obligations. Previously, the committee was responsible for completing Dayton's required biennial update of the subsidizing housing inventory (SHI), which is essential for compliance and planning. Maintaining an accurate, up-to-date SHI is critical for planning, compliance, and the town's long-term housing strategy. In addition to, a reestablished committee would provide a constructive forum for collaboration with developers and encourage public agreement and help ensure that the housing proposals are consistent with the town's character and long-term goals. To ensure the committee can function effectively and meet the responsibilities, I respectfully ask whether the town has considered allocating funding or identifying available resources to support its work. Even modest funding from administrative support, technical assistance, or required filings would help ensure the committee's success and sustainability. Thank you for your consideration. I am happy to discuss this further. So it's definitely a need in town. My purpose of the communication was just to basically to clarify what role our office would be in it, aside from appointing a member of our board to this committee, which we'll do tonight. Just talking about what kind of resources we're providing, just because of Carrie's work, especially now. I think when we first talked about it, oh yeah, you were already doing two boards at that point. Here, us and planning. It was the first time
For the first time?
when we talked about the 40B committee.
Yeah.
So especially with, I know we haven't been busy the past 2 months, but with 40B's developments coming before us again,
Yeah.
we're going to get busier.
Yeah.
Obviously planning's always busy. So obviously your time is limited. So obviously our board will provide information or, resources in that sense. But in terms of clerical work, if Carrie was to absorb any of that for that board, it would have to be a posted union position because it'd be changing her job description, right? Or if it was going to be modified into your current position, I would assume it would have to be reposted technically.
Yes, it would have to be negotiated with the union.
Right. And but obviously when the 40B committee is reestablished, they can discuss how they plan to handle that position.
Yeah.
John, I'm assuming you are interested in being on this board.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm familiar with doing the plan. I've done the plan for this town in the past. I've done the plan for several other towns in the past. I still do. Actually, I'm doing the plan for 2 other towns as we speak.
And you were
Privately, and then separately from that, I've worked closely with Veronica and people from DCHD and people from HUD. And I have a fairly good rapport with the developers in this region of the state. And I have a fairly good rapport with the agencies that do the placement and the actual, evaluation of who qualifies and who doesn't qualify.
you were on the committee before, correct?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
I'm going to do my due diligence. Were there any other board members that were interested in the position being?
I couldn't take that one right now.
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to keep that.
Dave, how about you? I'm assuming, I don't want to speak for you, but do you have an interest in being on the 40B committee?
No, not at this time.
Okay, I had a feeling that was going to be the case, but I just wanted to do my due diligence to make sure that no one else wanted it. So,
Zach, to clarify,
Yes, sir.
I just want to clarify because I would not expect nor want, and I want to be clear on the record, as they say, that ultimately this should not be a committee of one. And I think.
okay, I was going to ask that.
Okay, and I think if I were to take this on, which I would love to do, because I think it's important, it's valuable, and frankly, we are behind on it.
Absolutely.
Having said that, with the authorization of the zoning board as the committee that 40B would be answerable to, I would ask then that I be able to go out, pull our original documents, look at how many members we had on it, reach out to any of the other members, see if they still want to be part of it, which I don't know if they even do.
Right.
And having said that, I would like to be able to put it out there
That was actually,
as we would for any other committee, and have a couple of evenings where I can even be available, phone, Zoom, with you perhaps to explain what the duties and responsibilities overall are, so that we can gauge interest and get people. I don't know if we would want to, we can talk later if somebody's interested, or several, whether they would interview with just me, or interview with you and me, or interview the whole board here.
yeah, that actually
Those are things
was,
to discuss.
I was going to ask you that more of a point of my own curiosity about other board members, but so as of right now, you are the only one for sure that that can and wants to do it?
Correct.
Okay.
And on the short term, the only thing that I would do in the meantime, excuse me, is get together with the permission of the zoning board. I would want to sit down with town administrator just to get the documents that are necessary to see what the timeline is, because this may be something that has to be fulfilled quickly. And if it is, at least I can get working on that while we're in the process of putting the committee together again.
So I personally don't feel the need to be involved in any interviews, unless only because my father, Selectman Peter Karen, because of his experience with 40Bs,
Yep.
and probably the longest, aside from Joe Pacheco, who's no longer on the board, no longer serving on boards, my dad, Peter, is probably the longest been exposed to and involved with the most 40Bs on town boards. I mean, there's Tom Pyers and there's others who are, I'm not saying they wouldn't also be. So I don't know if he would feel I think he would probably be a better resource for joining in on interviews if you guys felt like you wanted somebody else to be on interviews.
I mean, I could talk to the town administrator.
I was just gonna say that
Reach out and
too.
See what he wants to do.
Right,
Take his-
right.
I'll take his guidance. is what
She
I'm saying.
probably should be involved in the interviews too.
Yeah,
If it's you and him, I definitely don't feel the need to.
okay,
If you felt like you wanted another 40B experience to be a part of the, at least the interviews, then I would suggest Selectman Karen, because over me, only simply because of experience. If he could not do it, does not want to do it, I will certainly do it. I just don't know how much more beneficial,
Yeah.
I would be.
okay.
Maybe Greg, if you want, if at least set on the interview process.
Yeah.
I mean,
That too, I know Greg said, he's not here, just wouldn't be involved in the board.
Workload, I couldn't.
But
do
for
all of
interviews,
that. Yeah,
potentially, that might be a good way too.
I mean, I think right now with with the fact that this report has to be done, with the potential other issues and other buyers for another property, and a few other things that could be coming up soon, I think it's really important to get it constituted again.
Okay,
So-
so let's make one motion now to put, so strictly just for John being appointed to the board.
I think a motion first to accept the reestablishment.
So that's one thing too. So did it fall under zoning before?
It did not. It was a separate entity.
That's one thing that I remember, I was not,
That's actually my question.
And I
think
thought-
that
I thought-
to the- From the Board of Selectmen.
and I think that was the biggest thing I wanted from Ralph. Not so much the need for it. There was no doubt there's a need for it, but it was the zoning board's role in it. I wanted, in addition to,
Yeah,
from Ralph, because that wasn't the case before. I'm not saying it shouldn't be or can't be now.
right.
I think what happened before was, and I think the reason, the thought process is that it be under zoning board, if you will, separate but yet under.
Why would it? Why wouldn't it be or shouldn't it be its own entity?
Well, I think that's what I was going to say was I think before in the past, the 40B committee was doing its own due diligence with developers and meeting to work with developers on a lot of the documentation, supporting documentation, how the project was going to, the same things that we've done, that some of us who've been here already have already done. And there was a duplication at times. And that duplication didn't need to be. So I think that's part of the reason to have it under the purview of the zoning board, is so that it avoids some of the duplication. So
I'm not comfortable doing that without talking to Ralph.
I mean,
I honestly, I genuinely forgot about that because it's been so long ago. So that was the aspect I was really looking for, was zoning board's role, not so much the need for it. I wouldn't want to make a motion to reinstitute it to find out that it shouldn't have been our job to reinstitute it.
Yep.
Like, why would we take the motion to reinstitute it if we were never the ones to be the umbrella board?
it was not, as long as I was on it, for the couple years that I was on it, we were not answerable to the ZBA.
John, do you remember who was on it? I'll top of your head. It's fine if you don't. It's
Right,
fine.
myself, your dad
My dad was on it.
was on it at one point. Tom Pyers was on it.
I did think Tom Pyre,
Quinn was on it.
who's no longer in town.
Right, he's no longer. in
Jason
town.
Quinn, who was on the zoning board.
And I know Tom had no more interest in it after a while at all. There was, then we had, the woman who retired, Council on Aging, who am I thinking of?
Alice,
Alice, thank you, yeah.
Alice,
And that was, and there was.
passed away, correct?
Right, one other person. So I think three out of the five are no longer even in town
Right.
or passed away. So
So,
the only ones left, I think, are, Tom Pyers, who no longer hasn't had interest for a long time. Other than that, was your dad and me.
okay. So, just because I live with him, I'll ask him just his knowledge of the history of it, but even still, for official correspondence, I would definitely want something from Ralph. Or maybe I just consulted him first.
Yeah, I think we need more clarification. I was under the impression that the appointment was gonna be made, all of it was gonna be done under the Board of Selectmen, because that's how it was done. I didn't
Right.
realize they were asking for the ZBA to make the appointment, which ZBA doesn't have an authority to appoint anyone.
We're in a appointed position.
The only thing we.
Right, we-
do is it would have to be a subcommittee of the ZBA.
The only way that, the only thing that we appoint are
You're right.
point persons, point people for certain projects.
Correct.
Right, which, that's
It's
a
amongst the members though.
different appointment.
But I'm using the term appointment in quotations for the record, like,
Yeah.
but that's the only time
It
that
looks like in that instance.
liaison, we've returned the term liaison
You're
before.
assigning a representative to represent the ZBA.
Right.
Like what we did with,
And the
Mr.
and the
Olson.
only time that I think other boards do that is, for example, I know at one time my dad was the liaison of selectmen for the historical commission. He would just
Yes.
it's kind of a thing that they don't necessarily always do because not every board needs to have a selectman liaison there all the time. That
So-
is something that would be voted on, but by them, obviously.
So a suggestion, if I could, Mr. Chairman,
Yep.
would be, at least for now, to get the process going,
Oh, 100%.
would be, I'm not even going to make this motion yet, just suggest it, that a motion be made to ask the Board of Selectmen to approve the reestablishment of a 40B committee, or the reconstitution of the 40B committee. And I would just add with, obviously, because you need somebody there first, with Jonathan Gale as the acting chairperson until a board can be established and a permanent chair can be voted. Period. Stop there.
I don't even think we should do that because as of right now, not taking out whether it should be or could be a subcommittee, as of right now, it's not. Hasn't been before.
Yep. So how do you want to?
So I don't know I don't think any motions need to be made except for me just asking Carrie to set up some correspondence with Ralph to discuss the zoning board's role and
I think the role was established in the letter that he wrote.
wasn't, I mean,
I do think so.
well, okay, I'm sorry, not the zoning board's role, the zoning board being a overseeing board.
Right, okay.
Obviously, I know what our functional role would be. It's more our administrative role that I want to discuss with him.
So the question is whether or not the board, the ZBA would be considered to be the overseeing authority for
Right.
the reconstitution of the 40B committee.
Right. And then if him and I meet and he says yes, I'll discuss with him what he wants that to look like, and then I would bring that before the board. If we can.
The only thing I'm concerned about
Yep.
is that if we can make this happen before, so that we have an answer for the next meeting.
That's what I was going to say that.
Because it's already clear in his letter, and I agree with him from the work I'm already doing, that we're behind the 8 ball on things that we need to do and things that get done. And it doesn't matter whether it's me or other people taking this on with me, there's going to be some work that has to be done pretty quickly.
So Carrie, if you want to write this down now, so you know, I can meet with him. What time is town hall technically closed?
What time?
What time is town hall technically closed?
5:30.
Wednesday is 5:30,
Right,
but
but there's-
Thursday is 4:30.
I think, does he work from home 1 or 2 days a week or something?
Only because
Not to my knowledge.
with my work schedules, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I do the after-school care.
Okay,
I get out 5:30, so by the time I got here, it would be close to 6.
yeah,
Tuesday, Thursday, I do a drama club. I'm out at 4:15,
okay,
so I could be here by 4:40.
okay.
So it's if he's willing to stay a little bit later that day, strictly just to meet with me, or on a day that he's here later, Tuesday and Thursday would work. I have no daytime availability unless it's a snow day or something like that, which we can't plan, which we wouldn't know, or a school holiday, which the offices are closed anyway.
Yeah,
So,
but if I get to.
that's fine, yeah. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item. Stonegate Landing LLC, westerly side of Somerset Avenue, map 9, status update of phase 1. I'm just going to first read into the record some correspondence that was sent this morning. So this is from Richard Federoff regarding correction, Stonegate Landing outstanding balance. The first email was sent this morning. On the bottom part, it's chronological order from newest to oldest, so the first email was down there. I know I always get confused how Outlook does this. So it's from Carrie, to Jeff. CC'd was Veronica Truel and Jeff Tarnico regarding the Stonegate Landing outstanding balance. She just said that good morning, Richard, as stated below, the zoning board will be meeting this evening to discuss Stonegate Landing. Kindly immediately advise if you plan on attending this evening. His response was, good morning, Carrie. Veronica first, this is regarding Veronica Truel. Veronica first told the board that she has two amazing 40B developers that would be very interested in buying the remaining lots in Phase A and development Phase B. 2 weeks later, she reported that neither developer was interested, but she was sure she would have a buyer in the new year. On January 6th, she emailed with CC to me. She wrote, hello, happy new year. I am with a potential developer. He is asking the current purchase of the 2 market rate units left in Phase A. Please advise. The board received the email as good news that they are maybe an interested developer. Good news, ? How can me selling 2 market rate lots to an outside developer to do anything to solve the many issues in Stonegate? After paying off existing debt, there would be little left to finish Phase A, infrastructure, and roadway. The developer's profit would be 3 times more than mine. Why not sell the remaining 2 affordable lots to Veronica's developer? The purchase price each lot would be $50,000. With no debt, I would be agreeable to place all proceeds in the sale in escrow, with the caveat that the funds must be used to complete Phase A. Good for mass housing, good for the town of Dayton. We need a comprehensive plan to finish Phase A, permit Phase B for an alternate 40B use, and use the proceeds, the sale of Phase B to finish Phase A. I have been working with an experienced 40B developer. He is engineer and architect. In 2 weeks, I should be ready to present a proposal to the committee first, then to the full board. Given all above, a meeting tonight would serve no purpose. I will not be attending in person or via Zoom. Best regards, Richard. I don't believe, so I spoke to Marguerite last night regarding the discussion we've had before as a board about putting liens on the remaining lots. She, for the record, assured, we were talking about whether this would need to be a executive session topic. She had said no, because it's not referring to any litigation, or even potential of one. If we were to do that and then that leads to potential litigation, then we would call executive session. But for the reasons that the state provides for executive session, the discussion of this does not currently fall under that. I'm willing to bet she did not see this email.
She did get CC'd on it. You meaning Marguerite?
Yeah.
Yes, I did forward it to her afterwards.
Oh, so she
Once I
wasn't
received
she wasn't
it,
CC'd on Roger's response, but you forward her the
Yes,
response.
I made sure she got it.
Gotcha. Okay. So the reason why Marguerite is not here tonight is just because I didn't feel like there was any need for her to be there, especially knowing if Richard was going to be here, then for sure she was going to be, but we had a feeling that he wasn't. Therefore, Marguerite's not here. She has not, as far as we know, responded to this email, correct?
No.
No. So that being said, part of my discussion with her last night was regarding the liens that we'd be putting on the properties that are remaining. She did not know, for the record, if it required a motion, but she said it's good to make one just in case, so we have it, as opposed to not making a motion for it. So that is something that we'll do tonight. All I feel comfortable saying right now is that there has been discussions with Veronica and Carrie this morning for the first which the first we've heard in a bit of time,
Quite some time.
quite some time. So literally as I came by the office this morning, Carrie was on the phone with Veronica having a meeting, and and I was privy to some of it, and then you caught me up on it. It's not anything that I wish to discuss right now. We will once we have more information. That's also why she's not here tonight, because I heard what we needed to hear, didn't feel like it was worth going into discussion yet. With the board members, are there any discussions you want to have based on the information that we just read?
So, Mr. Chairman, my first comment is that regardless of Mr. Federoff's letter,
You mean the one that we got today?
the one that we got today,
Yep.
I will tell you that another 40B developer is not going to come in and just buy 2 lots. That's not going to happen.
I don't see it happening either.
And
Not a 40B developer.
no,
Anyway.
no, they're definitely not. And the other thing before was, when we go way back a few months ago, since we haven't met in a few months, at that time, and I don't know if this has been done, but I'm going to be speculative and say probably not. Mr. Fedorov was supposed to provide Veronica with all the facts and figures
Correct.
for the entire parcel and phase 1 and what he had for phase 2.
Correct.
And what, what his costs were for phase 2, undeveloped, but everything that was involved in phase 1 and also the projected costs going forward, as well as what all the potential outstanding balances were to the town of Dayton for what could result in liens. I'm going to suggest, without knowing, that there's nothing to indicate that any of that has been done
Correct.
at this point in time. And I don't see, we've heard too many times Mr. Fedorov say, I have something in 2 weeks, I'll be ready in a month, I'll be ready in 3 weeks. We have yet to see anything like that materialize at all at this point in time. And I think in order for the town to at least potentially try to recover or be able to write off, whichever way you want to look at it, the outstanding balances that the property has, I think it's imperative on us at this point to place liens against the property.
Right.
I don't see any alternative we have at this point.
I agree. Greg, I know you are been the, to go back for the conversation, point person, and I assume you've not heard from him?
Nothing, and I see where he started off with this about Veronica. This has gone way before Veronica.
Yeah, without
So I
doubt.
agree with Jonathan. I said it a few months ago, I just feel that in order for, if we do not do this and it gets sold, then we have to go after in different ways. At least this way we know the town's getting our money that's owed. So I'm not opposed to attaching a lien onto the property. Obviously, right now, he has cease and desist orders. He cannot do and perform any work, so that job is a dead horse. I've seen in here, he said he's been dealing with structural engineering, infrastructure and roadways. We've been hearing that. I don't know, I think I had dark colored hair then. So I'm done with that.
We do know that, for the record, that he did pay for the plowing of the previous storm. This one nothing just happened.
Right.
We're not saying he won't pay for this one too. We just know that he did pay for the previous plowing, which is good. Which I hope that's not he's referring to, because I wouldn't call that infrastructure work.
Richard thinks that we're just gonna roll with it. It's at the end of the job, we'll see what we have. That's not how it's gonna work anymore. I mean, we've bent over backwards for him. I like Richard, don't get me wrong. I went out there with the architects, engineers, structural, civil, everything in the project. And when he got the report back, he was supposed to go get some third-party pricing based off the report. That's why he went with our engineer. Save him some money, and here we are. He owes the taxes on the properties. He owes obviously legal fees, 50G account. These things are up and up. So I don't know if we need to put a limit budget in there right now.
So I did, when I spoke to Marguerite about this, for the record, she did give me the wording that she suggested for 2 motions, which I will make one at a time. And if it says discussion to be had based on the wording, we can. Just before we do that, though, do you have any other further comments?
No, I agree completely.
And then John, one second. Dave, Dave, did you have any further comments?
No, I agree with everything that's been said.
Okay,
I do have one more comment.
sure.
And I don't know if we can, this wouldn't directly affect the lien, but we could potentially make it in a motion, which is, one of the arguments he was saying before about not being able to pay us was he was trying to sell some properties, I believe in Easton.
Correct.
And I don't know
Yeah.
if they've been sold or not.
I don't know.
I have no idea. However, separate motion, I would like to propose, and we can get to this later.
Is he an LLC?
Huh?
Isn't his corporation an
Yes.
LLC?
According to what we have, yes.
So if that's not an LLC, then there's no recourse for us to go at.
Well, the question is, can we place a lien against it?
Against those properties in Easton?
Yes.
No.
So if
If
there's,
there wasn't an, if it was in the, if it was in the corporation,
Yeah.
then yeah.
If it was part, correct, because he formed his, I mean, he might have his own development company,
Right, but can
but
we-
this is under Stonegate Landing
that I
LLC.
understand, but the question I'm asking is, and we've discussed with Marguerite, is whether we can place a lien against a separate corporation
No,
for an asset once it's sold to pay off this.
no.
I don't.
I think it's at least worth the question.
I don't think so. I mean, that would be like Carrie, hypothetically, Carrie having no insurance, hitting my car, saying I can't pay you. I know that she's selling her house, and I say, okay, but I want in writing the money from your house is going to pay for my car.
But she's not going to do it, but.
But hypothetically, we can't
But the court
do
might
that.
approve it, but the court might approve it.
I
I think it's worth the question, that's all I'm saying.
Do we know what the outstanding, where we stand right now with it? With tax,
so I do.
the engineering, Marguerite.
So Marguerite, I can tell you that just from, I know Carrie has more concrete answers, but I do know whatever figure you have, Marguerite mentioned to me last night on the phone, there is some things that she had, minor things, she has not submitted yet. She did not mention a dollar amount. Go ahead, Carrie.
So right now, and as of today, I sent him another email this morning requesting a status on when we can receive the payment in the amount of $11,818.97. So that's for the 53G account. I used to have the number for the outstanding balance for the taxes, but I,
It was 60.
Now, can our motion can or cannot include property tax?
It's funny you say that, because when I was talking to Marguerite last night, she mentioned, before she said that she would give me the wording that should be used, or she suggested that she be used, she did mention, you may want to include in your motion
Outstanding.
doing it along with or in conjunction with the assessor's office. I forgot how she worded, but look, skimming over the wording of the motions, that's not mentioned. However, something she mentioned in the second motion that I'll say may fall under that. We can talk to that when we get there.
Okay,
So this is from from Marguerite to Carrie. So I'm gonna make the motion to approve that the board pursue and place a lien on all Stonegate Landing LLC property in Dayton to cover the cost of all outstanding technical, legal, and consultant invoices associated with the Stonegate Landing comprehensive permit beyond the amounts of funds in the existing 53G account, as well as any additional interest, costs, and fees associated therewith, and to take any or other action relative thereto. Is there a second?
second. Either of us, go ahead.
You gotta say your name.
Yep, all those in favor?
Wait.
Yeah, well, yeah, I, Zachary Karen.
No, we have the second, we got to say who the second was, go ahead.
Oh, I, Zachary Karen motioned.
Who's
John,
second?
just all, got
I, Jonathan Gale, make the motion to second.
all those in favor?
Roll call.
I, Zachary Karen.
Hi, Greg Logan.
I, Jonathan Gale.
Elise Vincent.
I, David Phillips.
Okay, this is the second motion. This is where I feel like the possible assessor's office, sorry, I was saying taxes may fall under it. So the second motion was, I motion to authorize myself as chairman to take any action needed as the representative of the board to implement the placement of liens on all Stonegate Landing LLC properties in Dayton. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman, Greg Logan.
Any discussion?
I don't know that clarifies any other kind of tax. It just gives you authorization as chair.
I don't know either. However, the first motion mentioned to take any other action.
I would amend the second motion to add potentially concurrent with any outstanding property tax as known by the Board of Assessors.
Okay, I'm not opposed to that. However, I think I'll see your rewording, so I'll see your amendment and amend again. And this is, for the record, not part of the motion. I'm just saying out loud
Discussion. It's a
to
discussion.
say perhaps perhaps in conjunction with that, with any property tax. I don't want to say with property tax and find out the motion should have been made that way. The whole motion is now not valid.
Right.
Rather than have it say possibly and find out you shouldn't have done that, but I said possibly, I didn't say definitely. So maybe I would say pending further discussion with town council. So I'll make sure it's not pending.
Or it could be with recommendation for a separate motion to the Board of Assessors for property tax. For a separate lien.
It's the treasurer.
Town
So
treasurer.
I should just say property tax. I'm not going to designate
Right.
who.
Right.
And I'm only doing this because Marguerite, I know for a fact, she said well, your motion may want to include that, and it doesn't. So I don't know, did she leave it out intentionally? Or did she, because it's definitely not in either of the motions.
Right.
So I don't know if she left it out intentionally. I'd rather put it in there pending for the discussion. Right, Greg? I mean,
Well, like I said, property tax, the same thing when we stopped any kind of bill. So
Right.
similar idea, he can't do anything in the town of Dayton right now with that property. That property is pretty much, in the town of Dayton's point of view, locked up.
so before I make the motion, see if this wording makes sense. Quote unquote, I would motion to authorize myself as chairman to take any action as needed, pending, perhaps, to take any further action, take any action needed as the representative of the zoning board to implement the placement of liens on all Stonegate Landing LLC. Or should we just do a third motion?
You know, Jack, you can very simply say to take any and all action in cooperation with other town officials.
There you go.
That's good word.
That's it, in
Okay.
cooperation with other
Okay.
town officials.
Because
Right, because
That way you can speak to Paul or whoever you need to speak to.
We don't know the whole amount. We know there's money over.
right,
We don't know.
no, John, that's perfect. So now I am legitimately making the motion to authorize myself as chairman to take any action needed
In cooperation.
in cooperation with other town officials needed as the representative of the board to implement the placement of liens on all Stonegate Landing properties in Dayton.
Properties and assets.
Properties in Dayton.
Right.
Is there a second?
Greg Logan, I'll second that.
Any discussion? All's in favor? I, Zachary Karen.
Aye, Greg Logan.
I, Jonathan Gale.
Hi, Elise Vincent.
I, David Phillips.
Fantastic. All right. Next, fiscal year 2027 budget. Carrie, feel free. Well, it's yours.
We had a brief meeting. And it was specifically requested, two things were specifically requested in the budget for this year. One was reducing, and actually first let me back up just a little bit. I had to prepare two different budgets.
Yep.
One that included the debt exclusion and one that did not include the debt exclusion.
Correct.
In both of those budgets, I was requested to reduce the member stipends, which is the zoning board.
Mhm.
I was asked to reduce that by 50%. So that's why you see a big cut in that line for the FY 27.
Mhm.
And then I was requested to bring the no debt exclusion bottom line totaled to the $32,007. And then I was asked to bring the budget with the debt exclusion to $35,500, which I've done. The only place that I was able to cut on that was the professional and technical line. So that dropped that a little bit more, but that was really the only place I could cut it. I think, considering I'm looking at the amount expended for this year already, which is around 12, I think we'll be fine. I don't see anything that's slow on top of what I haven't seen in the applications or any inquiries for applications.
It's really gonna be 40B, it's gonna be hitting us hard, so I'm gonna say right now.
Yeah. It will be.
That's what's gonna, I mean, within, I would be surprised by April, that could inundate us the rest of the year,
I will-
possibly.
Yeah.
What's that, 40B?
Yes, and that's all I'll say right now.
So, so that's how I got the number statement.
Carrie, can what was the cost for legal? What's our budget for legal?
Our legal is the professional technical
Yep.
line. So the current price or the current budget for the current per year
Yes.
is $7,000.
Do you know what our actual was for previous?
The actual expenditure for FY '25 was $5,838.34.
And for the record, the amount in there is reduced per selectman.
Yes.
My one, I don't wanna say concern, but, I mean, we can't say we might have more 40Bs, therefore might use legal more, bump it up. We can't do that.
Isn't that what the 50G accounts for?
Yeah, I mean, right.
Put it in there.
I just,
It's an escrow.
right, yeah, good point.
So it's kind of just more
It's a
of
wash.
yeah, kind of, well, in some cases.
This is for.
Yeah, you're right.
You'll come in.
Oh, right, I can't,
Something,
I-
outside of something that wouldn't be the burden on the cost of the applicant.
I mean, the biggest cut was our stipends,
Yes,
which was obviously cut significantly last year as well.
correct.
So the stipends were 50% last year and then 50% again this year.
Correct. I think like mine, I mean, we all, for the record, I as chairman had the same take home as anybody, so I don't want, my take home, I think was like what, 84, 83 and change before the cut. Now it's
40 something.
43 and change. So it would be what, 23 and change?
22, that's right. My only question there is every.
A month, the record, not total, a month.
My only question about that part of it, as an equity and fairness, do you know if that's something that is being asked across the board?
It is.
Including
Absolutely is.
including selectmen?
As far as I know.
As far as I know,
Including
I mean,
selectmen, including Board of Health?
oh, including school, including fire, including police. Not, that's not to say whether,
No, I mean for the boards, not for the positions. You're not going.
oh, I'm sorry, you're right.
I'm only referring to
Oh.
the stipend, anyone who receives the stipend, is it across the board?
I was told it was across the board.
Yes, no, it's whether those boards choose to follow it. Like, obviously, these are all recommendations for the selectmen, but it's one of those things where it's like, they're not, I don't want to say that they're not asking, they're telling, but it's like, if we say, no, we're not going to, it probably would get denied. So you know, other boards choose to follow that, and I can't speak on what other boards will do. I know the only other board that I'm on is Historical Commission, and we don't get stipends. So from my experience, I can't say for a fact what I know.
And I can tell you the other things that I might get no stipends. There's no stipends at all, and there never has been.
Right, I know school committee does.
Committee doesn't get anything.
School committee doesn't, oh, they don't get a stipend. right?
No, and they work so hard.
They meet twice, yeah, but anyway.
Yep.
Um,
I think the major ones are health, planning, and Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
right.
Those are the majors.
All right, so anyway, it's one of those things that like, am I fine with the reduced? No, but I understand why it has to happen. It's not anything I'm gonna argue or push. It's just that, but other than that, and obviously, Carrie, like your education stipend, that's in there per union, correct?
Correct.
What's the increase for the union this year? Just curious.
We're starting contract negotiations, so we don't have anything yet.
Communications,
That is our postage.
literally stamps. No, like that's nothing else ever.
And that actually, I also, I haven't had to do that. If you guys had to have a public hearing for whatever reason.
What do you mean?
If anything, well, for example, for the planning board and the communications,
Mhm.
I have extra money in there because my planning board has to do public hearings whenever there's a zoning bylaw change. That's a
Oh,
burden on my board. I'm trying to think if there's anything on your end. The only thing I could think of is if you would ever amend your regulation, your comprehensive.
but that would
regulations.
be, no, I mean,
I
I'm not saying no, I'm not saying that wouldn't be the case, but I don't see that happening.
And there hasn't been discussion to do that, so I wasn't foreseeing that.
Hey, I got a question.
Oh, sorry, and there was the only other cut was $75 for travel, that's no longer there?
That was what at the,
Oh, FY 2026, so that was, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So, I was just looking at it, but you just said it, and, it cleared it right out when you said travel.
Oh, okay. So there's no other cuts we make anywhere else?
There's, no.
I'm not saying I think we need to, I'm just double checking everything.
How come our fees went up? Well, last year, remember, we went, a couple years back, we went 500 to 750 per application.
That was before I came on
That was
board,
before Carrie came on.
but I think that.
I think it was-
It's so far up.
It was, I think, from what I remember,
Other
Greg,
towns, is that what it was?
it was, I forgot why it was even brought up for discussion. I think it's because I think it was brought up because we had a new office administrator who, before he was John Gray,
Before,
and
yes.
then before him was Nicole.
Nicole, then John, then Kerry.
So I don't remember if that increase was brought up by Nicole or by John Gray, but from what I remember, they as a new clerk, office manager, were doing their due diligence and noticed, let's just see where we are in relation, and noticed that we were lower.
In other towns.
Oh, it doesn't really matter why, but I just remember that we were at the time so far back, and we realized that we could, and in hindsight, it's good that we did.
Yeah.
Dave, do you have any comments on the budget?
No, sir.
All right, so I make the motion that we approve both the FY 27 budget no debt exclusion and the FY 27 budget with debt exclusion to go before the selectmen. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Elise Vincent.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, Zachary Karen.
Hi, Greg Logan.
Hi, Jonathan Gale.
Elise Vincent.
Hi, David Phillips.
Fantastic. Is there any public input? Didn't think so.
Okay.
Is there a motion on the floor to approve the meeting minutes from October 28th, 2025?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman, Greg Logan.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye, Zachary Karen.
Hi, Greg Logan.
Hi, Jonathan Gale.
Elise Vincent.
Hi, David Phillips.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman, Greg
Any,
Logan.
any discussion? All in favor? Aye, Zachary Karen.
Hi, Jonathan Gale.
Elise Vincent.
Hi, David Phillips.
All right, good to go.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, guys.
Lance Cable.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night.
You sound tired.
For you,
I-
You do something.